Are you there?
Yes, sir, I can see your screen, sir.
Okay, so like I said, we should import images from um, the browser into our image folder so that we can have quick access to them. So I'll go to the browser now. I'll go to my browser. I'll go to google.com. Since we are still going to reload this, I can still use this. I'll go to google.com. Then I'll fetch images, or I can use Unsplash. You can use Unsplash. Unsplash is a platform where you can get free images. Free images. Mm, you can use certain keywords. Since we started with animals, or let's just use nature, animals, plants, right? I could just type tropical plants. Of course, you understand that it, the choice of images you use depends on the content of the website you are creating. You understand? This is just for lesson purpose. Let me download this. Let's check so I can confirm the name. Okay, Ripley Elizabeth Brown is downloading. Let's download one more image just for the purpose of this lesson. Um, just to have something outside the context of what we've been downloading. Let's have a mug or a cup.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Michael.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Happiness, HP. Yeah, I'm with you. What's that? Do you see what I just sent to you? Do you see it? WhatsApp. You see how my own even view? Yes, I've sent my own on the group too. My own the same thing. Too, yeah, it's the same. It's just the view. The view is because of the laptop.
So it's because of the
Device, yes.
Okay. So I just downloaded these two images now from Unsplash. So you can have access to all these resources. Unsplash, Pexels. There are so many platforms that you can get images from, free images from, and you can use for portfolio design, web design, websites, basic website design. And then if you are working with clients, they will always provide images. Basically you know how to fetch your images and other resources. So I just downloaded these two. So I'm just going to access them in the folder. You can see them here. So I'm just going to rename them for easy access. These names are too long, so I'll just rename. Sorry, I didn't mean to open you, so I'll just rename to um, teacup, something I can easily remember. So teacup, enter. It's already in .jpg .jpeg. So that is the format. So I'll rename this as well to plants. So plant.jpg, enter. We downloaded just two images, don't forget. So for easy access, so I'll just bring this out, or I can copy, select both of them, copy, where is it? Copy two items and then go to our desktop. It's here already. I could just open it, but not to cluster my desktop. I can just close this since I can have access to it here. So I just go to my desktop, lesson one, open it up, go to img, which is where we have our images, command V or control V to paste, and then I have them here. Then we need one more image element. It's not image per se, but it's an icon. Is, or we can call it logo. You remember in our first lesson we talked about favicon, which is the tiny. Let me close this for now. But our images are already inside the img file folder. So let me go to the browser. Remember this icon, like this is for Unsplash, for example. This is for Google Meet. This is for Gmail, Google Meet. This is for Probit, a website. This is Visa. This is the logo. This is Jumia. This is Mayerfeld Consulting. This is for WhatsApp. This is for Figma. So you have icons like that in the browser by the side. It's called favicon. we've we've mentioned it before, but we'll go through it again. So I'm going to, let's, for the purpose of this lesson, since we are not using a particular logo, we can just download an icon. Let's go to Google. So we can get free icons from Google icons, right? What's happening? Google.com. So Google icon, it's here already. Material symbols and icons. So we can pick maybe any one of them, or to save time, because this is already in white, we might need to change the color to make it, obvious. So we can just go back and just check for another option. Let's say maybe a brand, a known brand, or maybe let's try Nestle logo PNG. We can also work with PNG in our HTML file. We can work with PNG, Nestle. I don't want us to waste time on this. Let's work with this. I need a sharp logo. Let's work with let's think of another brand. Let's say MTN. MTN logo. This is very bright. Let's use MTN. Let's use JPEG, since we're already using JPEG for other ones. Let's say maybe, let's open this. We can work with this. This is in JPEG, right? Let's save or copy, and then go to our folder, go to img, command V or control V. What happened? It's not pasting directly from browser. So what we'll do again, we can just save it, save image, and then we'll have MTN logo, save to desktop, and then we have it somewhere here. And then it's saved. So we can rename it, or we can leave it like this. It's not hard to remember. So we can close this and then go back to our VS Code. Then let's check our notepad and clear this out. Lesson 1. So title, styling, semantic, meaning, element, strong element. We've touched all of this. Favicon. Okay, let's treat favicon since we've already downloaded it. So we can now add our favicon. Now, like I said in the last in the other class, we're supposed to link our favicon to our image, our favicon to the HTML through the head element. If you can see, inside the head you have the title, which is like the tooltip. We have the character set, the meta tags, the character sets, the name and content meta tags. We have the link, which is to the CSS, to this CSS. Now, I also mentioned that there are different types of links. Though we've not touched links in full details, right? But this particular link now is called relative reference, because this link is relative to a file that is, or a folder that is within VS Code. Are you understanding? This can also, we can create a link that links to a different website entirely outside the VS Code. We can create a link that links to another section within the VS Code. We can create a link that links to a file or a folder within VS Code, and it will still go from page to page. So this particular one now is linking to CSS, though it's not moving from page to page. So whatever we have in the main.css takes effect in the index.html, just because we have a link here that links both files. So same way, we are going to link this favicon that we have here, this MTN logo. So I'm going to come here, hit enter to create space, and create a link for the MTN logo, which is our favicon. So same way, link, as you type link, you see different options, because the VS Code already knows that for you to type a link here, it means you want to either link an atom CSS, which is main.css, which you have done already, or you want to link a favicon. Basically, these are the things that you might want to do within the head area. But in this case, it's favicon, so we select favicon, and then it will type out all the other text for you. So you have type equals to image / x icon. In the CSS area, we can have this extra information, which is also not bad. It's important for our browser, so our browser can understand in details all of these parts. The browser is like a baby that we need to feed with information. You know, when you are writing your code, one of the best practices I would advise that you use is that you try as much as possible to be detailed in your code writing. Make sure that you add any extra information or details. Assume that the browser is a dummy. Now, we've typed link, we've created a link here to main.css. It will work, it's working, but we can still add extra information just to to clarify. Now, this is main.css, this is a link to main.css. We can go further by typing type, right, enter, equals to text // and then that's it. We save, Control S or Command S. So this is to say that this type of link is in text format, and is also linking to CSS. Do you understand? It's just like extra information. The same thing goes for the second link here for favicon. Now, this is already set, so type is image. The favicon is image, obviously, /x icon. That's just like extra information. Then this href is the actual link. The href here is the actual, that's why I have main.css, and the file here for CSS is main.css. So this is the URL or the address that we are actually linking. So there's no link without a URL. There's no link without an address. That's why you always have this here, something .com, something ./ You have it like that. So in this case now, for favicon, we have it like this shortcut icon. We have it like this, favicon.ico. So this favicon.ico is not linking anywhere. We are going to replace this with our image that we have downloaded, which is here, which is mtn logo.jpg. mtn, we are not going to type it out like this, because mtn logo.jpg is inside img. Img is the folder, so we can't just link the image directly. We have to call the parent, which is the img, which is the file, because we might want to select any of these other images. So it's best to just type out img. We call out img and img will appear here. Then we select img and then other options, all the images under img will appear, and then we will select the particular image we want, which is mtn logo.jpg, and then we select it, and then this will be the reference img/mtn logo.jpg. This is a complete address which is referring to what we have here, which is saying mtn logo.jpg inside img, relating to this, and then we have it like that, and then we control s or command s, and then we save it. So if you run this now in our browser, we should have a favicon already. So it's here already, just like other tabs that we have open. You can see it, MTN logo is there. So that's how to create favicon, and that's what we have done already. So if we move forward now, let's look at HTML, semantic HTML, or HTML semantics. Now this is a proper way of adding structure to our web page. It's like labeling our web page, organizing our web page, so that web browser can understand our website. Or not only that, assistive technologies like screen readers can also know which part of our website is which. Is this the footer? Is this the section? Is this a section? Is this a paragraph? Basically, establishing different parts of the website. Are you following?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we are going to look at the web page. Now, it's just a long line of text and images. We are not sure what is what. Is this a paragraph? Is this a paragraph? Is this a header? Is this a footer? Where is the footer? We have things like that. So that's what we're going to look at now. It's called semantic HTML, or semantics, basically defining the different parts of a web page using proper labeling. Okay, so I'll go to the VS Code. Let's start from the top. So we have our HTML lang, we have the head, we have the body. So now let's break it down, let's simplify it. You have the head, you have the body. Everything you do, everything that is contained in the website that is visible is usually within the body. So we can have footer. Let's say we are going to have a footer. So footer, break it down. But there's no contents yet for our footer, so we can still leave it like this. But footer is at the bottom. We know that. So this is the footer. And then we have what we call main, which is like, okay, let's say the main part of the web page. You can bring it down. You can say main. Enter. Since we already have content before adding the semantic, so we'll just highlight this one, Command X or Control X, that's to cut, so that you can also stretch this to the edge to make it clear. So this is main. So we'll come to the bottom where the content stops, where we have the inside the body. So Command V to paste. So this is main. Then we can also have let's see what else might we have. We can also have header, which is above main. Header. But there's not.
How about nav bar?
Yes, we are still getting there. We're still getting there. So this is the header. So usually the header, what is contained in the header is all these maybe uh, links. Like, let me go to the browser. Let's say, for example, check this now. Like this now is the header. This area is the header where you have this button, you have this extra button here, you have this logo, you have this logo, you have this logo. So we can call this area the header. These are links. These are links. These are links. You can call this header. You can call from here, from this area to down to this bottom. You can call it main, and then you can call the down, the most, lowest part of the website, the footer. But apart from the footer, from this point upward, where the header stops is the body, is the main, sorry, is the main. And from here, this top area is the header where you have the navigation. So now all of them are inside the what? The body. All of them are inside the body. The main, the header, the footer are inside the body. And then you have head, which is not visible. That's where you have your meta tags. That's where you have your styling. You have your links to your favicon, basically. But the only visible part of the web page in your file is the body, which is this, the body. So you have your head. So now the header, like I said, contains links and all of that. So if you view our practice page now, review our practice page, I think we already created links. Although we've not created links, but we can convert one of these guys to links so that, like, this area, this top area can be our header, for example. Let's do that. Let's convert this top area to our header so that we can link, we can turn this text to links. So we can now go back to our browser, our VS Code rather. So this is where we have the Ronaldo, Messi and stuff. So this is an unordered list because it is not numbered. So we can just copy this, cut it. Since we don't want it here anymore, we want to move it inside the header. So we'll just Command X or Control X and then come into the header, Command V or Control V, and paste it in. You can see how we're cleaning up our code. Now, this HR that is there, this HR was initially dividing the unordered list we have here and the ordered list, just for clarity, but we don't need it anymore because we have moved this guy here. So we don't need it here. So we can remove it and then bring this down, close the gap here by taking this or bring this out. So this is the header. So we can come here and put the HR in between, just for demarcation, so to say. So we can have it like that. If you check the browser again, if you go live, is there any difference? Is there any noticeable difference? There's no noticeable difference. It's still the same thing, but we've actually written the code in the proper way. So which goes to say that, you can, if you're writing your code might look okay, but you need to be sure that you are writing your code in the right manner. That's why you should always run your code on the validator platform. Although the validator platform might not necessarily call your attention to certain things, like especially the semantics. So the semantics is like accessibility in design. It's like the accessibility in web development. Sorry, just the way we always talk about accessibility. Like when you are designing for users, you should always consider the deaf, the blind, arm the armless people that are what's it called, that are um disabled, thank you, considering them in our design. No, you might create a design and it looks fine, it looks beautiful, people are using it, but you have not taken extra steps to ensure that certain group of users are not able to use it, are able to use it rather. That so semantic is just like that. HTML semantic is just like that. So you need to now take extra effort to make sure that you write the code in the proper manner, making sure that everything is well detailed and structured and labeled, just in case a screen reader is reading the the web page on the browser. And it also helps for SEO. As the browser is crawling, it understands the structure of your website, right? So that's semantic. So I think we are done on the semantics. No, we are not done. So we have this, because we have this here. So this is the header. We can now come down and subcategorize this and call it nav, which is what HP mentioned earlier. Command X or Control X, and then bring it down here. Command S or Control S to save. So this is nav. So in a situation whereby, for example, let's say if I open this, let's say here, let me close this multiple pages. Let's say here we have, like, now let's say here we have another link, right? Like maybe two links, right? In some cases you have, like, global link, global headers like this, where you have one like you have one particular layer, then you have another layer underneath, and then you have links here, you have another set of links here, right? You might just label go further by labeling each of them. Like, let's say for example, this is the header, right? Let's duplicate. How do we duplicate again? Shift and Alt and then press down key, and you duplicate like that. So we can now say, okay, since this is like a duplicate of this, are you still seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I still seeing my screen. Okay, let me go back.
Yes, sir.
So this is the duplicate. Our nav is still here. So we have two navs now, if you notice. One nav, two nav. Now, in order not to confuse the browser, we can just come in here and add attribute to the first nav by labeling it. Area label equals to primary nav, for example, or primary navigation. Depends on you. So we can call this one primary navigation. We can call this one area label secondary nav, just to add description to your page, just to add more extra, add extra meaning to your page, so that the browser can understand. So we are going to delete this since we don't need it. Pick it from the nav element so that we can completely take it out, and then we are back with just one nav, and then we can delete the attributes, because there's no point, because this is the only nav we have on this website, right? So there's no need to start labeling it separately. So we have it. So this is our primary and one and only nav, so we can have it like that. So that is that. So all of this is contained in the header. So if you need to add button and all of that, you just create a space and then add your button here in the um in the header. Let's say you need to have a button in the header, you can just have it. You can just type maybe sign up, for example. Sign up. So we'll still touch links, don't worry. So sign up, and if you check this, we have the button. So the reason why all of them are stacking on top of each other is like this is because we've not started styling them, like we've not started adding, CSS to all these elements. That's why they still appear in this manner. So let's go back to the VS Code. So we have that in our this. So we've clearly defined our um, header, our body, which is overall, the main, the header, the footer. Yes, where is the footer? This is the footer. So there needs to be like HR between the main and the footer as well, so that it can be clear. HR. So this is looking too scanty. Let's arrange it properly. Let's bring this down, or let's bring this up. Let's push this up. Go up. So we are basically cleaning up our code. Push this up. Push this up. We have it like that. This is body. Okay, looking clean. Push this up. Okay, looking clean. So yeah, so we've established that. Then I think there's another semantic we need to look at. Push this up as well. There's another semantic we need to look at. Establish the footer, body. Yes, sections. Yes, let's look at sections. So if we go back to our browser, you see we have, this is the header. So now this can be called our first section, right? Section 1, section 2. And how are we defining our section? You can see the HR. You can see the HR dividing, the different sections. So we have another section here, and then we have the last section. So if you look at it, so we're going to divide the section. We're going to label the sections using semantics. We know that it is sections, but it is not clearly stated here in the code that they are sections. So we need to add the labels. Sorry?
Okay, don't worry. I kind of lost what you did there, that sign up place. So
This one?
yeah.
No, I just typed a button. I just typed button elements. If I clear it now, I just typed button. And then to open up, and then you type whatever you want in the button. You type it in between the two elements. You can have create account. It's just a dummy button, just for the purpose of showing you what can be in the nav area, right? So you can have here, this button is not yet active. We've not linked it to anywhere, right? Not linked it anywhere, so it's still inactive. So but it can just there as a just be there as a placeholder. Do you get it now? Are you there?
So yeah. I'm trying to get him.
Okay. You've gotten it, right?
Yes, I understand. So like in that case now, if you want to add color to that button,
If you want to add color to the button, that's CSS. So we can add it from here, or we can add it from right here by adding attributes, style, enter, and then we can add color. We can adjust the width, adjust the height, the border, the padding, the position, the font family, the font size. Basically, if you check it, it will Why is it not changing? Let's change to another color. Okay, it's affecting just the text. It's affecting just the text. So we'll have to now like add fill to the button itself. But let's not go deep into CSS yet. CSS is going to take our time. Let's establish the structure for now.
Okay, so Mr. Meke, what I was trying to say about the color is that, like the button, not the right
Text.
up, like I don't want to say.
Yes, I get your point.
Like the not the create Abi, what did you do?
Like
Yeah,
the button
not
itself.
the create account. Yes, like maybe I want to make the buttons go like, let's
Yes,
say blue now,
it's
and
better
right
we
up
do it.
is
Yes, it's
white.
better we do it from here. We'll write to get to style the button. We'll have to write like a line of like multiple lines of code here inside here to style that. That's why I said let's not um go into CSS yet. Let's establish the structure. Then we'll now start styling. Do you understand? If we start going into that now, it
Okay,
will
okay,
take our
I
time.
get you now.
Yes. That's why I explained earlier that all of these are still stacking on top of each other because we've not started styling them. That's why they are just here like this. So if you go back now,
Mr. Michael,
I'm going to
sorry. This call will end in 15 minutes.
end in
15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay, and be on the lookout. Once it's about to end, you can create another link, or can you create another link?
Okay.
You can create another link, right?
Yes, sir.
So it will be faster. So once you create another link, just send it to my WhatsApp. Or you know what? Let me create another link because my WhatsApp is not linked to this desktop, so it might be difficult for me to get the link.
Okay, sir.
Yes, I'll create my the link and then I'll send it through my email. From my email, I'll access it on my phone. That's how I've been sending it. So let's just quickly make use of the time left. So more semantics, breaking them into sections. This is the main, right? This is where we have this is the nav, this is the header, right? And then this is where we have different sections. So we have the main, everything is inside the main, and then we have the ordered list where we have the numbered, list of items, and then we have this HR dividing it. So now we can now come here from the beginning of this section. We can call this section. You can either use section or use article. Some people use div. Some people use div, like div. But div doesn't have meaning. Like it doesn't have a semantic meaning. Let me put it that way. It doesn't have like it's not meaningful, but it is used to just divide sections, to just create a division in sections, right? But it's good if you are using it for yourself. You just want to use it to like remind yourself, maybe for practice or something. But if you want to do it for semantics purpose, you want the screen reader to read and have meaning and understand that, oh, this is a section, then div is not what to use. You should use section or article. So you can clear this other one, Control X or Command X, and bring it down here, and then Command V or Control V. So this is section. This is the first section. Now, in order to just label this, before we label it, let's first establish the sections so that it doesn't get overwhelming. So that's that. Then we have another section here. After the horizontal row, we come down again, another section. Add space, one space in between the sections so that it can be clear. So we have section here, another section. So cut this, bring it to the end of this section. Where is the end of this section? That's where we have the HR, so which is here. Command V, then we have it. No, that's not it. Command Z. Supposed to be here. Where is the beginning of this? Is the beginning, and then it's supposed to end here. Command V. So this DL is not supposed to be there. Then we have it like that. Section close. Okay. Then we have another section beginning here. Section. Enter. Make it align. Remove this. Control X or Command X. Where is the end of this? So now this is supposed to be after the HR. So we clear this HR. Before we clear this HR, let's close this section. It ends here. Command V. So this HR is supposed to be the divider between the sections. So it's not supposed to be here. So Command Exit or Control Exit. Then we bring this other section opening tag down so that it can clearly define its own family, or its, yeah, you can use that word. So close it and then bring it in between this and Command V, which is the horizontal rule, to clearly show that this is the line between two sections. This is the beginning of another section and this is the end of another section. So let's go further. We've closed up this section with this closing tag, right? Then there's another HR which defines the end of this section and the beginning of another section. And then I'm thinking of something. I'm thinking we should make this particular area our footer so that we don't have to stress creating another footer. So I'll just delete this footer that I have here. Alright, then I'll come here after the HR, which defines the end of this particular section. I come down, then I have footer here, opening and closing. Then we remove the closing because the closing has to be at the end of the whole content. So we'll come to the end. This main is here. We'll bring the main down, or we'll come here and hit enter to create space in between, and then paste our closing footer tag, which is here, right? Inside the main. Everything is inside the main after all. So this HR, we don't need it here. We can delete it and close this up. Bring this down, take it up to close up, take it up to close up, take it up to close up. I think this is good to an extent. So we have the footer clearly stated. You can bring this main down so that footer can be obvious. So I think we are good. Control S or Command S. So if you check it, you might not notice any changes, but we've done a lot of work in establishing the web page, the structure, and the semantics. So we can now, let's try to run our file by the validator, the online validator. So this moment is always like there's a lot of tension. What if this guy brings a lot of error? Are we now going to start checking again with all the stress we've gone through? But it's very important because you might have a lot of errors and you don't know. So validate by file upload is what we select. Choose file. It will take us to where we have our folder. I have my folder in the desktop, so I'll go to desktop, and then I name my folder lesson 101, right? So I open it, and then I want to check index.html. I select it and then open, and then I will check. Ooh, wow, a lot of errors. Wow. So let's see. So we'll now start checking one after the other. Add identifying headings to all sections, or else use a div element instead for any cases where no heading is needed. Section lacks heading. Oh, yes, that's very correct. Your section should have heading, like heading 2 or heading 3, heading 4. That's why it says heading 2 to 6, because you can't, remember I said in the first class, you can't use heading 1 more than once. Heading 1 is supposed to be for the Euro section, which is the first heading you will see on the web page, and that heading 1 is the biggest in size. So any other heading you have in the other sections downward on the page should be from heading 2 to heading 6, which are the smaller ones compared to the H1. So the H1, which is heading 1, is usually the biggest. So, and to fully establish that this is a section, it has to have a heading. It has to have a heading. That's true. So that is calling our attention. This is calling our attention to that. Let's look at the other error. Element DT, which is description term, not allowed as child of elements section. Yes, that is true. So the element, so a section normally usually is seen as it's supposed to naturally have a structure of text elements describing a particular was it just for a purpose, like okay, describing a particular product, or describing, talking about certain, certain points in paragraphs, accompanying that with images, basically not necessarily having description lists in it. But because we were practicing distribution lists and we just quickly created sections out of what we created earlier, that's why we're having these errors. So we are going to work on that as well. So it is telling us that we can't have a description list inside a section as a main context. Context in which elements DT may be used before DD, or DT elements inside DL elements. Now, it's also calling our attention to another issue. The DT is supposed to be, description term is supposed to be under description list and also under description details. So we are going to check that out. Probably we omitted something. We mistakenly put them before each other. So we'll confirm that as well. Then another error that says DD not allow as child. So this is more like the same thing. So oftentimes, if you correct one or two errors, it will correct other ones automatically. Let's try it out. So this, okay, this is another one, straight tag end, straight end tag DL. So this is whenever you see a straight end tag, it means that you didn't close it somewhere, or it's just there on its own. It's not, it doesn't have any meaning, it's just there, it doesn't have opening tag. That's why it is straight end tag. It's like a stray dog, it doesn't have opening tag. I think I remember when this happened, when I copied the section elements. I think I copied it alongside an end tag, a DL end tag. So we'll check that as well. Bad value before figure for attributes with on elements img. So okay, expected a digit but saw p instead. Paragraph. So we have to check this as well. We have to check this. Same thing. So if you correct this also will not pop up. So let's get back to our VS Code. Where is it? Where is it? So it mentioned let's check where we have DT. Okay, now this is very wrong. So DD is description details. This happened while we were restructuring and adding sections to our VS Code. So we are going to bring this down. So description list. So we mistakenly deleted the opening tag of this DL. So what we have left is the closing tag of the description list. So we're supposed to have the opening tag at this top. That's why the error came up. So we're going to have the description list, and then since we already have description list end tag here, we don't need this extra one. If we leave it there, it will appear as error. So we'll just close it and then save. Okay, one error cleared. Automatically, when we clear this error, other errors will also be cleared, linking related to this, right? H1, we can't have H1 here, or let me see, do we have H1 elsewhere? Let's save this. Let's quickly look at the other errors that it mentioned. um, it mentioned img, or let's just, okay, it mentioned img. I think this, okay, This is a paragraph. We can call this h2. h2. Control save or command save. Bring this down. So this is part of semantics. This is an image. We can Another element that we use to define an image is figure. So this is part of semantics as well. We need to label this and make it known that it is a figure. So we use figure for images. So if I remove this end tag, command X or control X for example, and bring it to the end of this image, command V, and then we have it like that, control save. This is defining the image as a figure. So if we go back to our validator, let's quickly check again. Choose file again, choose this. Now because we've saved it, it will automatically save here. So whatever we're opening now is the updated version. So we can now check again. Okay. Okay, let me just quickly select this. Let's check this. Okay, you can see our errors are reduced and we just made two changes.